Your father has done a lot. I know. I was an MLA in 1988 with him. I used to come
sir.
here afternoon, night time. Your mother must got agree with me, but politicians sometimes they are shameless. Politics is dynamic. Issues are changing. Expectations are high. This is where you'll hear our leaders speak. Are we ready? Let's start. Hello, good afternoon, Manuel.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to my house, sir. Welcome to our
young, dynamic, handsome too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for welcoming me to your house.
Thank you,
to
thank you,
have
sir.
a free and frank talk with me. I'd like to share the views of young man politics. Politics is, we can call it a friendly tournament with unknown probable results, but hope is there. So,
True, sir.
you are 41 years old.
Yes, sir.
So, I'd like to ask, you are going to fight from 16 East Shillong
Yes, sir.
Assembly constituency. What are your qualifications, academic background, experience?
Qualification-wise, I'm an Indian as far as schooling is concerned.
Edmund, say Edmund.
Yes, sir.
Ah,
Yes,
good.
sir. After my schooling, I went to Delhi. Did my graduation from Delhi.
Delhi. Science, arts, commerce?
In commerce.
Commerce,
Commerce, but with economics.
In economics.
Yeah, and then I also did a special course on business administration, of course, during that time. And then after my graduation, I shifted to Calcutta. By God's grace, I managed to get into IM.
IM
IM Calcutta, yes. A few other IMs, but we chose Calcutta at that time because I felt that it was a better institute for my background as such per se, because I wanted to be in finance also. I wanted to at least know a little bit more on those lines.
With a special subject as economics.
Yes, sir.
Finance is a facilitating factor,
yes,
not only for your academic but also for
my life skills as well.
business and
Yes,
also
and
for
life
your
skills
life.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So it just fell into place, and then I did my MBA from there. After which I obviously got campus placements. Then
A good campus placement.
yeah, definitely from
Where?
such institutes. So first and foremost, when I finished my MBA, I had worked in Bombay.
Bombay.
Yes, yes.
Where in Bombay?
So we had worked for a company called Merck Electronics, which is for Oneida. But it was a very short stint. And then after that, I moved on to some other companies. I wanted to have a vast experience in many other fields. So I joined consulting also for a while. And then after consulting, I joined telecom. My major experience is definitely in telecom and in FMCG. So, but then I had around 16 years of experience.
16 years experience.
16 years of experience in total in corporate sector. Worked in various geographies, okay, and then had extensive, extensive experience in marketing and finance, yeah. And then while I was moving there, I always told my mom also that in corporate life, especially the fact that I also happen to, I also happen to find a Khasi girl for myself. So I told my mom that living outside forever is impossible.
Yeah.
I cannot retire in a city or in somewhere else. So I told my mom, no, I have to think and plan my career accordingly.
Good.
So I told that I'll be working in corporate for nothing more than 20 years. Because that time when I started working, I was 22, 23.
22, 23.
Yeah, so then I said that, look, if I work for 20 years, that means it'll be 43. So I said, no, I cannot work till 43, because then if I go back to Shillong, it's too late to start something else new. So I said, before 42, I have to hit back my hometown.
So before 40, you came back to Shillong.
Yeah. So having that in mind, I used to be reckless in my career.
That's life.
When I say reckless, meaning I don't really want to build a career in one industry. I don't really want to build a career in only one phase. I said that I'll expose myself to as many fields as possible, as many projects as possible, be it FMCG, be it telecom, be it consulting, be it this or that, wherever I could. So I said the point is to at least have a good experience in
Yeah.
a different industry.
Because this will help you in a
Yes,
future
then
career.
it opens my
Yeah.
mind. But yes, I got stuck in telecom for a longer period, primarily because I had this wonderful opportunity for working for a company like Vodafone. So when I joined Vodafone, I was a DGM. I was not the marketing head then, I was operations head for Northeast India.
Northeast India.
And then, so operations head, we were basically rolling out businesses all over the place. So we used to have this concept of strategic business units, whereby each unit has to be self-sufficient on its own and has its own ROI and has its own revenue driven. So from there, I got to learn a little bit more. But then, luckily, I got good promotions. I became the marketing head for the entire East India.
Oh,
So yeah,
on the whole of Eastern
yeah.
India.
Then it's a hub-based kind of a business. Then from there, I learned a lot. I'll be very honest, because that's the time when I started learning machine learnings. Then artificial intelligence came into play. The very
But
first time.
artificial intelligence is still a new science in the
Yes,
Northeast.
it's a
Rather,
very
it
new
is
science. In India, in fact, it was a very
it is
new
still
science.
a virgin field yet.
Yes.
Not
Then,
the other
yes,
advanced countries.
yeah, because it's a company that had operations in 64 countries. We also got a lot of exposure when it comes to, like, we were tying up with Google. So Google played a very important role. And then when we were tying up with Google, I got a huge amount of exposure, Ken. Then luckily, I was also selected in Vodafone, at least. I was a part of a group of people, a very limited people, who was like the international management standards. They call it the Columbus project. So out there also, I got good exposures. In fact, we used to go to many countries.
Exposure with these different corporates?
That's total 16, 17 years, sir.
So that means after you come back here.
Yes. Then after all of that, and then my wife also, being from Shillong, she was not really into. I still remembered in Delhi, I took her once. She stayed with me for a week or so. And then she bought her own ticket and came back because I was never at home. So it's as simple as that. Huh?
I appreciate her. She is independent on her own.
Yeah, it's
also.
independent on her
Because
own.
Modern generation, you cannot afford
Yeah,
to be
you
too much
cannot.
dependent
Yes,
on
yes,
the spouse.
yes. So they also have their own lives. I also had my own life. But sooner or later, I think it boils down to the fact that no, you live one life, right?
Yeah.
So if you live one life, you have to think.
You have to adjust.
Yeah, you have to think for yourself, because it's not just about the money. It's not just about your career. It's also about that. Work-life balance. That made me come back. That made me come back to a very large extent. But other than that, other things that I also wanted to. And
I feel very proud of Khasi boys and girls.
yes, sir.
Well, initially, when they start, if they are here, they stagnate.
Yes.
And then they become nobody's child.
Yes.
But when they go out, they shine. Whether in America, UK, abroad, you know that.
Yes,
they
yes,
not-
sir. Yes, sir.
In different fields, medicine, engineering, agriculture, IT, and all, they have done very well. America, UK, fine. So it's good. And now they're coming back. I don't believe it's good. Your being here, you should contribute to the welfare and progress of the state.
Thank you, sir.
So what
Surely.
made you interested in politics then?
My interest in politics basically stem out of the fact that I lost my father at a very young age. I was only 9 years old when my father passed away.
Died 1990. I think.
1990. So what happened is that during that time, when you're very young, you only see a few things that your father was doing. I saw very few things only from the outside. I was born in a political family, there's no denying about that. But then when you lose a father at that age, you always have that inclination that, no, I want to know exactly what my father was doing. I always wanted to learn more, because I heard so much about him, so many good things about him, so many things about him. And you grew up in that environment, right? That people only talk about the history.
Yeah.
Then for me, it's not just about history, right? I also
It's
want to
just
know what
here,
is exactly happening. So when I left Shillong and I was all over these places, I was working in so many parts of the country and even abroad also for a while, I always had this feeling that, nay, I need to go back someday or the other. I need to at least enter political career, not necessarily as a candidate or not necessarily as a thing, but at least get to know exactly.
Get to know.
It's like a soul searching, So like that, Ken. So then when I came back to Shillong in 2016 and I started my own work and so on and so forth, that's the time I got some free time, Ken. Because you understand, in corporate, 24 hours is not enough. incorporate 24 hours
Yeah,
is
I
not
know.
enough. But then when you do your own work, then you realize that, and I like to be that kind of a person who just wants to manage. I don't want to be hands-on on everything, right? I want to give opportunities for other people to work with me.
Yeah.
So then eventually I said, okay, since I had free time, I entered the Congress party.
Good.
As a secretary, as somebody who just wanted to help the party. And that's where I think that I reignited that flame that was always there in my
You are
soul.
really taking a challenge.
Yes.
At this juncture when Congress is going down.
Yes.
But they used to say that no, nothing is permanently down or permanently up.
Yes.
Especially in
The
politics.
cycle of life is always crest and troughs,
So,
no?
but when you build a party, later on they rise up, they tend to forget those builders. So I hope it will not happen to you. It's good.
Sure, sure.
You see, talking about your father, I know your father very well. He was
Yes,
a
sir.
footballer,
Yes, sir.
hockey player. He was my teacher in Finnish High School.
Oh,
And then he was a social worker in Malki. The whole Malki respected him. And only in the history of Meghalaya, only in the case of Malki Assembly constituency, which connects Malki and Nashumia, that the Dorbar insisted that nobody should fight against Ba'op Star Kharguli,
True, sir.
1972.
True, sir.
And so at that time, at the height of the APHLC, they did not set up APHLC candidate. Of course, independent were there.
Yeah.
And he won by handsomely also.
Yes.
Then 1976, he joined the Congress. At that time, there was too much anti-Congress, anti-national party, you know. Still he joined in Pita Marmiang. And he won 1978 election.
True. So that's the whole point,
Became
sir.
minister also.
Yeah. So that's the whole point, sir. For me, it's that soul-searching thing that I was telling
I
you.
mean, you must have tickled your mind.
It tickled my mind to a large extent.
You want to, after 17 years outside, you want to, it tickles your mind, you want to contribute something to the society, to the land of your parents, to your birthplace. It's very good.
So I came from that kind of a background where the love for my family and especially the love for my father is like immense. And even till today, when I go and visit people's houses, I can tell you, sometimes I feel as if I'm going to tear up.
Yeah.
Because when I meet those people of a certain age group or the other, and the way they welcome me at home, it's like something that no money can buy.
Yeah.
It is something that no respect can get you. And it is also something which I take upon myself as one of the biggest challenge.
Yeah,
if my father is able to get to that level, I have big shoes to fill, there's no denying, okay? But then to fill up those shoes, I also need to at least find that soul in me to ensure that at least I reach that level. But yes, in today's world, it is a modern world, right?
Yeah.
So you also have to come up with modern ways of doing
modern
things.
ways of things, not like those days.
Yes.
If
Yes,
we tell
sir.
you the story of those days, it will be like a parable, which you will find it very hard to believe. Or you see that Loniak is exaggerating. I passed through that. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's good to come back. You see, we talk about Tamil Nadu, Kerala, about Bengal. Why these three states progress, especially the southern state, even Maharashtra? Because those who pass well, especially in economics or commercial or management, they come back.
Yes.
That's why Bengal, no? Asim Das Gupta,
Yes.
all those great, and Ashok Maitra.
Yes. And they always seem to contribute to their society in some way or the other.
See, all these big schemes, mid-day meal scheme was started by the MG Ramachandran in
Ramachandran,
Tamil
yes.
Nadu.
Yeah.
2 rupees kilo rice was started by another actor, N.T. Ramarao.
Yes.
Because they had very good economists. Even now also they are very
Yes.
good economists, West Bengal. Even this Manreka scheme was the brainchild of the left front.
Yes, sir.
Dual with Manmohan Singh, so being a great economist himself, he implemented.
Yes,
Good.
sir. So it's very important to have such backgrounds also to come, especially when it comes to public service that we want to do. I think it makes a lot of sense to come from that background, and hopefully we obviously the intention is there.
Yeah,
the
good.
intention is
Because even now you must have seen, no, there's big controversy in freebies and schemes.
Yes, sir.
But freebies, MLAs also get freebies.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have to promise, like Arvind Kejriwal, free electricity, free water. He did it
Yes.
through the good heart of the economists.
Yes.
We politicians generally are the implementers, and you
Yes.
get the credit, but men behind are the economists.
Yes.
But in state like the southern state and West Bengal, the theorists are also the practicalists. being in the ministry.
Yeah,
So
but
it's good.
at the end of the day, theories are anyway based out of certain things, but then you always have to test them, right?
Yeah.
You're a mathematician yourself, so hypothesis testing also has to
Yeah,
be done on a
hypothesis.
regular basis, which
That's why
I
we
think
do
in
it.
many places they
That's
do.
why mathematics we call them the what triplets.
Yes, sir.
Mathematics, economics, statistics.
Yeah.
All these things we do on sampling
Yeah,
basis.
yeah.
That's good. So now I'll come back to what you have done. Your father has done a lot. I know. I was an MLA in 1988 with him. I used
Sure,
to come
sir.
here afternoon, night time. Your mother must got angry with me, but politicians sometimes they are shameless because I had to learn from him.
Yes, sir.
And I am what I am also partly because I learned from him.
Yes, sir.
So now I'll come back to what you have done. No? As I said, your father did a lot for Malki and all.
True.
And I like to put on record here, historically and actually so, in the whole of Meghalaya, only Malki Dorbar insisted that we should know
Yes.
a PhD candidate.
And Malki Dorbar has always won, and believe me, Malki is one of those places, at least historically speaking, that is way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
The first Punkhuchnong also started in Khalmalki. So
you must feel proud of
people from
your,
Malki has always been ahead of the
you must
curve.
really feel proud.
Well,
You must live
definitely.
it up and you should continue with better.
Yes, as a son,
skill.
and as a son of the soil,
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
it's a very proud thing to be in Malki. And
Yeah. Now I'll ask you, since you are going to fight you are fighting from the Congress. So as I said earlier, ups and downs always in life. Huh? You remember after Indira Gandhi lost to that Raj Narayan, no?
Yes.
He was a lawyer, not so good lawyer. Not only that, she was in prison.
Yeah.
Every thought the Congress was gone
Yes,
after
sir.
the emergency 77 election.
Yes.
But she came back.
but she came back.
So I hope that people like you, people now after having this Yatra of Rahul Gandhi, it's gaining momentum.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll come
See,
here.
as far as the Congress is concerned, so if you ask me, there's no such thing as a sinking ship, or there's no such thing as Congress losing out or whatever it is. See, Congress always stands for a certain ideology. So be it at a national level or be it at a state level. Now that ideology is very well ingrained to each and every congressman. Okay, if you're a true congressman and you're not just wearing the Congress jersey just to win an election, as a true congressman which runs in the blood, it is those ethos that the Congress stands for that will actually pull the Congress back. Now, in today's world, like in India, for instance, 80% of the populations are Hindu, correct? Now, if somebody wants to tickle the Hindu sentiment and ensure that they go and harp on the fact that Hindus has been neglected for so long, maybe to a certain extent you'll be able to win on those emotions, okay? But in the long run, I have this firm belief that we as Indians, whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Christian, or any other religion that you are, we are Indians at the end of the day. And by virtue of being Indians, I think Indians has a culture which is a long historic culture.
Thousands of years, more than 5,000
More
years.
than 5,000 years. And this culture has always been on the fact that they've been secular, they've been adaptable, they've been able to live together at peace, you know. Like for instance, Delhi is the city of jinns, right? Has been destroyed 7 times and rebuilt 7 times and so on and so forth. The same thing, that's the true nature of what India is all about. And believe it or not, the Congress believes in that. And sooner or later, I think this politics of duplicity, this politics of divide and rule, this politics of creating demarcations on religious ground is something which definitely will not last forever. And it's very destructive and it's very
won't
bad.
last forever.
Yes. And I think that ideology of the Congress will come back and should come back. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And even I think if you look at the state also, it's just a matter of time that the Congress has to come back, because I think it's the need of the hour.
I'd like to intervene that.
Yes,
what
sir.
you need is that this principal men of the Congress, the few who are there, they should fight on.
Yes.
Because when they fight on and one day they become successful, generally those who reap the harvest are the latest entrants.
Yes.
But those who have started the struggle, they may have gone away, but the history will never forget them.
Exactly.
See? So therefore I feel nice
But it is important. But it is important to walk the path, to walk the difficult path also. I think we don't have to look far.
Yeah.
You look at what Manmohan Singh had done for the country. Okay, we had some phenomenal growth of 16%, 12% on a yearly basis for some time, and believe it or not, till today.
Yeah.
India is what India is today, even at the G20 level, or you talk it anywhere. It's just because of the fact that those massive growth has happened in those initial days
You see,
when Manmohan
latest
Singh was
BRICS
there.
meeting, BRIC.
Yes, and
India was a topmost priority.
yes, and the G20 also now we're getting
G20
presidential seat. So which shows that India is becoming
Indians
a
are
super.
great. We have
Yeah.
to cannot deny. In America, so many Indians are winning the Congress seat.
Yeah.
No, 5, 6 so far.
Yes.
And
So,
our Vice President, so Kamala Harris, from South Indian origin.
Yeah.
And in UK, we got the Prime Minister of Indian origin. After becoming Prime Minister, Pakistani claimed that he's also Pakistani.
True.
There was no Pakistan
Yeah.
before
So
1947.
we just need to look at it from that aspect. At least from a country perspective, I think India is doing well.
Yeah, doing
Yes, lately the rate of growth has been depleting. I mean,
But
at least
this
it's becoming
because of
slow because of COVID, because of
you
other
see-
factors.
You see,
Also,
even UK,
yes,
the economy has slided down. Yeah,
Yes.
economists,
Yes,
we
sir.
receded down.
yes,
And that's why so many that changes during not years, few months.
but it's a part of the cycle. I think
Yeah,
globally
of course.
we're going through a recession.
Now
There will have to
now-
be some sort of a
That's good.
comeback. Yeah.
That's why even this Johnson felt proud that we have during my time so many ministers of Indian origin. Acknowledged.
Yes, true.
Hey, Manuel, listening to you, I feel that I should be your student.
No,
To
sir.
learn the economic. No, we talk economics in a simple language,
Yeah,
understandable.
yeah, understandable.
Of course, I have mathematics background, but you do not talk about calculation. So it's good. I hope we'll have you one day in the house.
Sure, sir.
Politics is, no? The result you can never predict.
Yeah.
So anyway, now I'll come to issues. So what are the main issues that you feel that the state has to go through and to have the able leaders to solve this? Not too many, but the important issues.
See, the most important issue, if you ask me straightforward off the hat, is the fact that we as a state are underperforming economically. I mean, it boils down to economics again. Sorry to say this, but see, if you look at our internal source of revenue,
Yeah.
okay, sir. I used to tell people that you can't look in isolation. You have to compare with comparable states who are also going through a peace kind of a phase. You cannot compare with a Bimaru state also. You have to compare with other states which probably will exactly know our potential. My case in point here is when I do the comparison, I always like to compare with Sikkim. Because we're not so different from Sikkim. Except that the fact that Sikkim is a population base of around 8 lakhs and we are a population base of 35 lakhs, okay?
No, now we are approaching 40 lakhs.
We're approaching 40 lakhs. So when you look at it from that aspect, then you start looking at how Sikkim is able to, generate an internal revenue of in excess of 4,500 crores a year. Whereas in our state,
But don't you realize or don't you feel that because of this NGT ban on coal mining, our revenue came down?
Definitely. It'll come down, but our dependency should not be only on one thing, right? Our dependency should be...
But Sikkim got a lot of revenue from tourism.
Not much, sir.
Not much.
Because out of 4,600 crores, around only 1,600, 1,700 crores comes from GST. Tourism gives you only GST. What else will tourism give you apart from GST? Of course, when you look at the GDP, that's a different thing. I'm only talking about the internal source of revenue. Now, what happened is in our state, I feel as if there's a lot more potential.
Yeah, man.
See, sir, if you look at it just from forest products, okay, while NGT is there, but we still have a depleting forest cover.
Yeah.
11,000 hectares of forest cover has been depleted in the past 2 to 3 years.
Report,
The latest report has come.
of course, Meghalaya portion is quite bad. Though not as bad as Assam.
Yes. So, but then now, when you see so much depletion even in forest cover, which means that the forest products are being sold somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Now, when these forest products are being sold somewhere, there should be some sort of a revenue in which the government also derives from.
There are leakages, I think.
There's a lot of leakage. That kind.
And the problem here is that those who are to be the shakers seems to be part of the illicit trade.
Yes. So those are the kind of things which I think needs to be addressed at least to a very large extent. Then at least the state has a lot more potential. because leakages, you ask me, is coming from everywhere. Let's not turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to the reserve coal that has already been allowed to be sold also, that also is quite a lot of...
Don't you feel that all the raw materials that God has provided us, we should exploit them for our good of mankind without harming the environment?
Without harming the environment.
So therefore, even the latest act of the government regard coal, they allowed scientific mining.
Yes.
But why government of India did not send the expertise to help the local entrepreneurs in the scientific knowledge?
Yes.
I've seen America, I've seen in Tamil Nadu, they are doing scientific mining. Except West Bengal, Jaharia, Aranikon. They are doing like us also. Mining.
Like ranching and all that.
Yeah. Why didn't they send the experts?
That's the whole point, right? There has to be a public participation. There has to be a government participation, and both of them have come together. See, at the end of the day, exploitation. When I say exploitation to an extent in which it doesn't harm the environment, in which at least there's a balanced approach to which exploitation can be done, definitely it should be done, okay? But then not to the extent whereby it harms everything. But at the same time, please understand that we also have to create wealth. But then the wealth also cannot be concentrated only in a few hands. The wealth also has to be spread as much as possible.
I think now you are talking about this version of wealth.
Yes.
Don't you feel that, for example, in this coal belt,
yes, sir,
there should be scientific mining, and then there's collaboration between the private holders and the government,
yes,
and not neglecting those labor sector.
Exactly.
Then we can see. I'll share with you. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I've been in America. I've seen that all these coal belts are scientifically exploited.
Yes, sir.
I have not been to Australia.
Yes, sir.
And even the coal dust has been extracted to the chemical factories.
Yes.
So nothing is wasted.
Yes.
But here I find nearly 45% wasted.
But then, yeah, that's an open pit mining, right?
Yeah.
That's the difference between the kind of mining that these people are trying to do here and an open pit mining. But then my point is, forget about the technology in which you want to bring in terms of that. I'm only saying, see, the government's job in any other economy around the world, okay? The government's job normally used to be participatory, and then slowly moved mostly into tax collection. That's also what happens in India. Yeah. If you look at the example of Maruti Suzuki, when Maruti was formed, then the government of course owned a major chunk of Maruti, but then right now government owns practically nothing for Maruti.
Even Mahindra also.
Yes.
They are having a big profit.
Yes.
After this,
so out here also, so out here also, I believe that at least the government should intervene. There should be a participatory approach in which the government is also involved.
But the private entrepreneurs should be encouraged.
But then the private entrepreneurs also should be given a hand so that at least they come up, and slowly the government only move out of it and just be the tax collector.
So now I'll come to the main basic issues that are here. Now we find that, as you said earlier, the forests are being depleted. Water sources are drying up,
yes,
and then polluted. Even in Chirpi in Malki, water is depleted, where your Malki stadium is there.
Yeah.
How will we solve this problem of water?
See,
potable drinking water.
Potable drinking water, as far as my understanding is, catchment areas should be there, and these catchment areas should be highly protected. Okay, it cannot just be that catchment areas and the surrounding areas around the catchment area should also be very much restricted to ensure that
there should be a legislation.
There should be a legislation. There should be a proper
with
policy.
Stringent punishment.
Yes, with stringent punishment, and people should not just be allowed to as you said, should not be just allowed to extract as much as possible without having any scientific measurements or understanding the water table and so on and so forth. Right now, believe it or not, I'm telling you, the understanding level is very low. Yeah. The understanding level is very low. There's no coordination between the departments, let's say that like the water resources department or municipality or this or that.
With so many, the water department, resource department come recently, then you get basin. I don't know who is doing what anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, whatever it may be, let's hope after our court is still there. You know, otherwise, I don't know. We have been in disarray and chaotic condition here. So therefore, water is very important. Now, even drinking water, you will find many times that the Maplang water supply keep notice that there will be no water for 48 hours.
Yes.
I don't know how people manage. Luckily, there are those private entrepreneurs with tanki supplying. So now I'll come to this. What do you feel about the education sector? in our state. Is it purely bookish knowledge? It is not deviated from what Lord Macaulay many years ago introduced to produce clerks during the British,
Yes, true, sir.
Are we still following that tradition in spite of having this NEP 2020?
See, the NEP 2020, if you ask me, the new education policy at least, it harps more about the modern way of educating people, which is a very good thing. I will not deny that, okay? But then for us to be able to move into that kind of education system, we also have to be ready for it. As far as our infrastructure is concerned, as far as our training of teachers is concerned, I think so we're still a little behind. So it will
Training
take time for us.
and,
Yes,
books also.
yes. It will take us a little time. I think the education department is taking its stride, but definitely it is. It's not able to. Probably we are lacking behind to a large extent.
I do not know why the government of India brought this NEP 2020 in July 2020, in the midst of a pandemic.
Yes, sir.
So the states could not participate. Because
Now,
education is a concurrent subject, no?
Yeah. But then when you ask me whether the general courses, be it mathematics or economics or psychology or anything like that, I think these general courses, see, education should not be looked at as a skill building exercise also. Education is just not about skill. Education is also about opening somebody's mind. It's an enabling kind of an exercise to ensure that people who are well educated are able to think on themselves. It is not necessary. Many people always used to say that if you're a doctor, then only you can open a hospital. I am not of that school of thought. If you can be anybody who can open a hospital.
Swaraj Paul, he opened a hospital in Delhi. Was he a doctor? He was not a doctor.
He was not a doctor, right?
He opened that hospital because his daughter died of cancer.
Yes.
Lack of medical attention.
So, but then at least he had a good educational background to be able to think so that he moves into that direction. So, I believe that general education is also very good because then it allows people to reach an aptitude level of that level in which they can just about do anything.
I wrote in our editorial that luckily recently the Chief Minister has announced the Education Commission.
Yes.
To involve all the different expertise from different departments.
Yes.
Retired, serving also to share their views and experiences for the good of the future education. I think that's a welcome suggestion.
Because as far as a basic education is concerned, I think everybody needs to do general studies. Only when you reach a certain age and you want to specialize on certain things, like especially in today's world where everything is so specialized that even if you want DBMS or for that matter, you need to know Oracle, you need to know so many things, and these kind of things are very highly specialized courses. Yes, these courses only come at a later stage. It cannot come at a basic level. At a basic level, even a person does not know how to read and write, you can't start teaching him how to. You can't start teaching him how to cut a saw. So
that means, according to you, we should try to be at par with the development in the rest of the country.
Yes.
But we need to be prepared for that.
We need to be prepared for that, but then...
Now I come back. Sorry to interrupt you because time factor. No. What about the health sector in the state of Meghalaya?
Let's put it this way. As far as health sector in the state of Meghalaya, I think it came out today even in the newspaper. I think the infrastructure is something which is definitely something to talk about and something which is alarming to us right now. Basics, equipments in various hospitals are not being managed properly. I just went to civil hospital a couple of weeks back, and even a CT scan machine is not working. And most of the patients are being asked to go and do CT scanning from other private hospitals. And for a person coming from a background which is not very well off, it is a big burden for them to go to a private hospital and just to get a CT scan. So that means,
according to you, the government-run hospitals should be well furnished with equipment.
Yes. So I have this firm belief that these government-run hospitals should be very, very much equipped with the right equipments. I think, yes, we have a manpower problem. There's no denying about that. It is a shame also for the state.
Manpower shortage because we do not have medical college.
Yes. It is
a small state like Nagaland has got medical college.
Yes. It is a shame also, exactly, sir. It is a shame also if you look at it, you know, that a state like Meghalaya till today does not have a medical college, at least a government medical college.
Private university
and a private university has managed to come up. with all due respect to the university, which is good that okay they've started they're going to open one, but the failure of ours means we're already 10 years too late, isn't it? We had the opportunity some 10 years back.
They had the audacity to
Yes.
name it after P.A. Sangma.
Yes.
Of course, he has contributed to the state.
Of course, he's contributed to the state, which is a good thing
And
as
we
long as we
appreciate.
get. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's
They are in
appreciated.
preparatory stage. I think they'll implement from 25, no, the course?
Yes, sir.
Because now they are in
Yes, sir.
okay.
So, but then
So-
we missed out on the government
we
part,
missed
on the
out.
government college,
Yeah, shortage
which
of doctors in the state now.
and we have a huge
Yeah,
shortage
huge
of doctors in the state.
Not to talk about specialists.
Specialist is a different game altogether. I think that's much beyond.
Now coming to your place, yeah, do you have any health center in Malki and around Malki? Like Kras, Ramshana Hospital,
Yeah.
Nas Hospital.
Yeah.
Then
There's a urban health center in Damsenyong also in Naimukra,
Damsenyong,
and there's one urban health center just in my house,
but
which is
do
above
you
here.
have all the infrastructures intact? for
But the infrastructure is very weak, sir. It's
Because
just a
in-
basic and health
in
infrastructure.
emergency, people cannot take a vehicle and go to this hospital.
Yes.
Even nearby this woodland.
Yeah. At least for basic care, I believe that we need to have a dispensary sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And I'll take it a point that, yes, sir, as I'm telling you now, but I feel it's extremely important because most of the hospitals that we have here, while Ramakrishna Mission is there and so on and so forth, but most of the hospitals are still private hospitals. I think the certain section of our society still need that basic care which can be provided
This is
through.
a challenge for you. You win or you don't win, you should see that healthcare in Malki and
In
adjoining
Laimukra,
area,
yes.
Laimukra area
Should come up, should come up. At least dispensary. Yes.
Uniform development.
Because it's already a very highly sizable population, which need a proper dispensary sort of a thing.
Now, I'll come to you about there's one thing that we feel in the carrying economy, and this health group.
Yes, sir.
Don't you feel that women are doing great work in building up the economy of not only of this country, even different countries the world?
Yeah.
See in the South India, you have been there, no? Even Papar, mostly women.
Yes.
And you're doing very well.
Agarbatti.
Ankarbati, women are doing very well.
Yes, sir.
And coming into Bangladesh, Muslim country, that Chowdhury fellow is organizing the women's
Yeah.
force. And he got a Nobel Prize, no? I think
Yes, sir. I think very true. I always tell people that self-help group and cooperative societies are the way of the future.
Yeah.
I've seen very good examples. I've been to Gujarat myself in Anand.
Gujarat.
I went and visited the
been to
Amul.
Anand.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I've been
Amul
to
Anand.
Anand,
Yes.
yeah.
So it was beautiful the way it was set up. I had the opportunity to also be in Bangladesh once, but I could not visit too long. There's a cooperative society called Grameen. Grameen Bank, the same, Chaudhary Saab, yeah.
Yes.
So Grameen Bank,
called
Grameen
People's Bank.
Telecom, exactly,
People's
People's
Bank.
Bank. It was a beautiful cooperative society model that is managed, and it's not even far from Shillong. Okay, anybody can actually go and visit. I think from the government side.
Talking of Bangladesh, even that very good medical college is 60 kilometers from Dauki.
Exactly. so the point is, I think. As you said, self-help group and especially for women is very important in
Very
our
important.
society.
Our men, they are doing a lot
I'll tell you why.
individually, but if they are together,
yes.
10, no? Generally 10,
Yes,
15.
yes.
I think they'll do better.
In fact, you can add as many as you want
But
to.
generally 10 is
Yeah.
most workable.
In Anand, Amul has 15 lakhs.
Of
So-
course,
so-
they've
so-
got so many
Subsidies,
subdivisions.
sister divisions of theirs. But then the point is, societies like that is the need of the hour, is the
Yeah.
need of the day, because see, jobs can only be created from two sides. One is through the government's perspective, and one is through private participation. Now, private participation, if you ask me, I've worked in corporate all my life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very difficult for a corporate to come and operate or start an
yeah.
operation here, unless they do it only for business purpose. So creating jobs through corporates will be difficult. But then, are we unable to create our own corporates? We definitely know. We are able to. We can do it also.
yeah.
But then, when I talk about this, I'm talking about, at least from a point of view, like a cooperative society.
Yeah.
See, a cooperative society, what it does is that it spreads the wealth to everybody.
Yes.
We can start small businesses. We can identify.
You see, government of India is giving plenty of finance.
Exactly.
For these
So,
SAGs,
exactly.
MSME,
Yeah.
small scale industry. And we do not have, we have very few takers,
Yeah.
frankly
See,
speaking.
the point is that, sir, we are a society that probably not everybody wants to do business. It's very difficult to do business, okay?
Very difficult.
But in the form of a cooperative society, we can involve a lot more people. Tomorrow, if we start a small enterprise here, which caters only to Shillong city, in various services, it could be laundry, it could be anything. You know, we can easily absorb
Yeah.
200, 300 people to come and
Now,
work there.
Qatar Shillong is about more than 5 lakh.
Exactly.
So, market is ready there.
The
Ready
market is ready.
there.
I always tell people that this is my dream, that I need to start a cooperative society.
Your dream should translate to
Yes,
reality.
it should translate to reality because I
And the
want to
earlier
create
the
those
better.
jobs. I want to create those
Yeah.
jobs. And I've been all my life working in these kind of environments. So I understand exactly what I need to do.
But don't you feel that our young boys, young girls with their basic knowledge, even if they are master degree,
Yeah.
PhD also,
Yeah,
coming to business for them is more or less basic knowledge again.
exactly.
Don't you feel that it is very good to have them some training?
It's very good to help them in training. I will not deny that. Okay. See, three things that I intend to do. One is a cooperative society. One is also having these small self-help groups, as you said
Yeah.
earlier. See, I always tell people, sir, in Malki and in Laimukhra, we have a lot of masons.
Yeah.
In Nongbala, more. So I used to tell the people that what's the difference between a mason and a contractor? There's no difference. The contractor has money to start a business, a mason guy does not have, and he works on a daily wage. Now tomorrow if we start a self-help group, just appointing 10 to 20 of these people and put them in a group and probably start a seed funding for them.
Yeah.
It's not that you give them in outright. It's basically access to money,
Yeah.
access to funds, access to resources in the form of a loan also, without interest of course. And these people from being a Nongbala can all of a sudden they'll become a contractor.
Yeah.
It could be a small contractor also, but,
But
at
at
least
they are
they are
independent.
moving up
They are
in
independent.
that ladder, right?
Because as a laborer, he worked for 3-4 days. After
Exactly.
3-4 days, he had to search for a
Exactly.
job. So he 3-4 days
Yeah.
lost.
So it's difficult, right? So that's the point. We have to take that risk. We have to at least help them, show them the way. Lashai, sooner or later there'll be a lot of these people coming up in society.
Masons, stone masons, wood masons.
Yeah.
I've been to Mizoram, Nagaland. All those big chimneys, important chimneys, were built by the Khasi masons from Nongkrem, from Moplang.
Exactly.
From
Yes.
no, and the record is there. They said, sir, this built by Khasi stone masons, wood
Yes.
masons.
So we have the skills.
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
not dead yet,
So this
because
skill should
it's
be
there
enriched.
inherent in us to
Should be
create
enriched,
that. Yes,
lest
should
it
be
dies
enriched.
down.
It should be enriched.
You
Ken.
should,
So
cannot-
that is one thing, and then the second thing is the society, and then the third thing that I always keep on telling people that you can't have a system in place whereby you create and you help only skill building. Please understand that why many of these startups will fail.
Yeah.
And in the world today, out of 100 startups that start, believe me, 88% of them will fail.
You
Okay?
see, they start with big fund, big
Yeah.
finance.
Yes.
And from startup, they talk of unicorn.
Yes.
Why not MSME? Medium, micro,
Exactly.
small.
Now, the point is, from a government's perspective, I always tell people, rather than teaching people skills, teach people how to market the product.
Yeah,
See,
market.
for me, sir, the most important thing is I can teach somebody how to stitch clothes. Now, if the person learns how to stitch a shirt like this, and he makes 1,000 shirts, what will he do if he's not
Yeah,
able to sell it?
marketing.
See, the point is he also needs to sell it. Now, how do we bring about an environment in which selling of items become easy?
Yeah.
I always tell people that in today's world, the market exists on this mobile. Okay? Amazon has more than 40 to 50 crores consumers who are shopping on Amazon online today in India. Okay? Now, just think about this. Suppose tomorrow I shop for an iPhone. Let's say I shop for an iPhone. An iPhone is costing 1 lakh
Yeah.
and excess. Okay. Now I shop online. There are 3 losers in that. First, I lose out because if I shop, it takes 5 days for the iPhone to come to me. It probably came from Delhi. Second loser, the government. Being an iPhone is a luxury product, it attracts a taxation of 28%. Now 28,000 goes to whose kitty?
Private.
It goes to Delhi's kitty because I'm buying from Delhi. So 14% goes to the government, 14% goes to central, whatever it is. That's what they do. But the money is actually in their kitty. That's 28,000. Okay.
And third?
Now the government of Delhi earns that money, not my government. Okay. And thirdly, who's the vendor selling it? He's a Delhi vendor.
Yeah, this-
So he's selling it, so he's getting his own commission. Now my vendor sitting here in Shillong does not get anything. My government gets nothing. Me as a consumer gets
So
nothing.
you should review this economy
Yes.
of the state.
Suppose tomorrow we start an Amazon fulfillment center here, which is very much practical. Okay, it's basically a post office of the Amazon or Flipkart. Suppose it's a government building you can bring about anybody. Okay. Now, the moment we start here, you're creating 3 opportunities immediately. Okay. The first opportunity, all these local vendors sitting in Shillong now who are complaining so much that my business has been hampered because GST is not here and then people are shopping only online. He gets an opportunity to participate. Right? So that shopkeeper who normally sells handsets, now he can register himself. Me as a consumer, very happy. I shop tonight, tomorrow morning my stuff comes because it's close by. The government earns a lot of money. So the 3 parts who are benefiting from this. Now it's just one part. Just imagine the moment the center comes up.
So now I throw a challenge to you.
Yes, sir.
You are talking nicely. Can you do it, implement it?
Why not? We should. I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense. It is not even...
For the first time I learned from you this thing. You should do it, implement what you talk. Huh?
Yes, good. And the second part is, I'm just telling you another part.
Keep employment
so now, I'm reaching out to everybody to understand another part. Suppose there's a center here. Just imagine there's a person, let's say, sitting in Punusla, and he manufactures mura. The mura that we normally sit, okay? Believe me, there's a market for it. Or the mats, or anybody. There's a market for a mura everywhere around India. Today, the poor guy makes 4 muras, 5 muras a day, and he walks around town trying to sell it. Or he sits on the roadside trying to sell it. How much will he sell? Tomorrow, if his product is featured on Amazon as a shop, as a store, just imagine the kind of volume he will create, sir.
I threw a challenge to you, young fellow.
That's a very good thing that we need to do.
You should do it.
Yes, and all these local entrepreneurs, the small ones, they could be somebody making small decorative pieces. It could be bashnakho. It could be a small lamp. It could be anything, right? All these people, all of a sudden will start...
or
canes and bamboo furnitures or small artifacts that you normally sell. Everybody will start getting the opportunity to come up.
That's what I like about it. So, sorry to shift that what you just said is that challenge should do. You should do as early as possible.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
You keep all the 3 factors are there to be borne in mind. Now, yesterday concluded the Northeast Olympic Games, second Northeast Olympic Games. So, seeing at the performance of young boys and girls, don't you feel that in certain sectors we can be rectified and they can earn medals? For example, we lose in football. Our young boys and girls very good footballers. Your father was a great footballer.
True.
Don't you feel that we need more training?
Definitely, sir. Honestly, to tell you, is that even I used to play football. I used to play football for the school junior team. I played football for the school senior team also. And I also played football for Malki.
Malki?
Yeah, under 16. Long time back, of course, during my younger days. If you ask me about sports in particular, I think I give credit a lot to the way the entire Olympics has been managed this time. At least it was saving grace for us. I saw a lot of young boys and young girls becoming volunteers and helping there. And I thought that was a great thing that at least these boys got to actually have
glory.
Yeah, and they brought glory. It's just not about winning. It's the way the way the entire thing has been managed. Especially the young boys, I saw that they were given a role, they were given a responsibility, and they rose up to the occasion. That's a very good thing, because operations management... There's
great potentiality that we do more.
Yes, so operations management is a very important thing, and I saw that these kids, especially in today's world, the younger generation, have done fantastic job, and credit should be given to all of them. Yes, the government had done its part, but then it's the nitty-gritty things that matters, right? But from a sports perspective, I feel that yes, there's a lot of things to be done, and I believe that the state has huge amount of potential. I was so, taken aback yesterday when we lost with Mizoram. Of course, I wanted us to win so much. So much.
2-1.
Yeah. And I wanted us to win so much, but it's a part of sports, right?
We have to weightlifters.
Yeah.
2 weeks training and they got the medal. No?
Yes, 2 weeks training and they still managed to do.
I will share with you. 1977.
Yes, sir.
St. Anthony's High School got the championship in Suburto Cup.
Yes.
It was trained by P.K. Banerjee from West Bengal, famous player, footballer.
Yes.
And through the initiative of Father K.B. George, headmaster of St. Anthony's School, he took personal challenge.
Personal challenge.
The Khati boys and girls should come out and even and came home successful. And then it came here in 1978, I remember.
Yes.
So this example should be emulated, I think, by modern leaders and modern great teachers.
Yes,
I think so.
It is. I think for sports, you see, so sports, it's. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
Sports, you have to have a lot of emotional quotient. It's not just your intellectual quotient, but your emotional quotient plays a very important role in sports. As long as we have leaders, coaches basically, and trainers basically, who are high on emotional quotient, who would walk the extra mile, then only sports can change. And that emotional quotient has to come not just from the teachers and the leaders, it also has to come from the sportsmen. Believe it or not, we in Meghalaya have a lot of that. Don't
you feel it's high time to have a sports academy in the
Yes.
in Shillong?
But then at the end of the day, as you said, I think the infrastructure of sports in Shillong and in Meghalaya as such needs to improve to a large extent. I believe that the infrastructure has to improve to a large extent, then back that up by good operational management, because operational management is also something which is very important and needs to be looked at in a very serious note, because for the small infrastructure that we have, we also have to have a good operation.
Yeah, good.
Because
but
if
even
we,
then, Meghalaya, you cannot deny that Meghalaya got a great potential in that.
See, I used to feel sad only in few things, to be honest with you, because I've seen many a time there are these sportsmen who have excelled in other types of sports also. It could be kickboxing, it could be some other things which is not really very popular amongst the crowd. And many a time I've met them. And the kind of support system that they get from the government, believe me, is like a dust tile. It is very bad.
I feel very bad. Take example of Mericom, boxer, short, small. She got encouragement from her husband and from the state.
Yes.
Every time she got gold medal, she was promoted. Now she's an SP.
Exactly.
So here, what kind of encouragement? I think
the encouragement out here is a bit too weak. It's very weak. So it does not project much for the young generation.
And so I'll come next issue. Now, what do you think about this youth unemployment problem? And we have talked earlier, but now, how do you feel? What will be the solid issues to deviate, not totally, but at least to a certain extent?
The youth unemployment problem is one of the biggest issues that we have, to be honest with you. I've visited so many houses and so many households. I've met so many
problems.
So many, yes.
Alcoholism, drug addiction.
Yes, I've met so many families, and believe it or not, sir, it's very disheartening to see that people who have graduated well in class, who've done their master's degree.
As a young politician, now working up, don't you feel that something should be done? You need not wait till you win, or you need not wait till you become minister. But don't you feel that at this juncture it should?
See, but at the end of the day, it's all about policy building, isn't it? It's all about policy.
You can be a part of policy building through your party, and then
through our party, we can definitely be participatory in that form. But unemployment problem is a big issue, and you've seen the latest Niti Aayog report, right? I mean, I just got privy to it recently. So the more educated you are, the more unemployed you are.
No,
so apparently, the higher your education level.
The problem with these qualified people, they want bigger job. If you give them a lesser job, they feel underemployed. Partly.
But then it is underemployment, no? If tomorrow I'm qualified to do something which is far more than I'm supposed to do, and I got a job just to probably serve tea somewhere in an office, it's definitely something that I will not do it.
Partially.
I will not want to do it, right? So obviously, when you've studied so much, why will you settle for anything less?
So, I mean, the parents, the society, the government should encourage them, give them support. No?
Yes, but that support system should come through a policy. That support system should come through.
So now, according to you, you are 41 years old, you have seen the past, and you have a vision of the future. Any difference in politics then and now?
If you ask me, sir, you'll know best, but I can tell you for sure during your time, especially when you're younger age time, when you were much younger, and during my father's time, I think politics was very, very clean. And politics has not been dirtied, or I will not say dirtied, but politics has not been diluted to this level that it is now.
It was issue-based.
Yes, it was more like issue-based, it was more like quality-based, it's more about policy making, it's more about growth of
and more
the state.
or less also the electorate support this kind of people.
Yes, and at that time the electorates also used to come in support of you because they believe in who you are. Not necessarily that money played a very important role. Money never used to play a very important role. Nowadays I feel as if money has percolated down to a very large extent. And that percolation of money, I'm not saying that people from a economic background which is far more superior should not enter politics. As long as they have the intention to serve the public, please, you're always welcome. But if you enter politics just for the fact that you want to make money out of politics, then something which we should at least be wary about. As a society, I think it's very important.
This thing has subsided. You were not here probably. A few years ago, 2 elections earlier, money played a vital role. Now it is November, hardly 3 months, 4 months are left. What that heat, the temper, shouting for, or going around for with money, subsided down.
It is subsided to a very large extent. I'll tell you one thing. So what we're doing today, especially you taking this mantle of digital media, this is a very important thing that has happened to our society. Whether we believe it or not, I'm telling you, nowadays, me having a discussion with you here, by tomorrow or by next week, there'll be 50,000 people who have viewed it. And that has played a very important role. So people need not just go and create some drama somewhere in the world and create narratives which are wrong.
Thank you for
and
that.
I think these are the small steps.
Now these NGOs have come out to the street.
Yeah.
And they defied the common order, section 144. Is it not a failure on the part of the government not being strong enough, or because some lapses in the certain departments? Because the NGOs, certain issues you have to appreciate them.
Yes.
Because as it is now, opposition party is very weak. Don't you feel that?
See, the NGOs are conscience keepers of society. Okay, as long as NGOs thrive, as long as NGOs come up and fight for society and basically revolt, then society also progress. Okay. Now, but we also have to ask the big question: why have NGOs become so vocal nowadays? It is because
and so many NGOs in the state.
So NGOs have become vocal nowadays because of a systemic problem. See, these are symptoms, right? The disease lies somewhere else. And the disease is existing in our society today, for which NGOs are coming up and showing us that these are the symptoms of the disease. Now, an NGO, yes, defying order of 144 CRPC is something which is definitely not acceptable, which we obviously have to tell them that they have to at least calm down and keep abreast of what society dictates also. But to a large extent, the boys that came up also came up for a cause, and they came up for a reason, and they came up because they've been told, and because there's angst amongst them, and there's a lot of grievances that needs to be addressed to a very large extent. And I think that is very important.
You mean to say that government is also weak to some extent?
Not
all, but certain
sectors. To a certain extent, the government is also not doing its part. Not doing its part. I will not say it's weak.
That's why now this election we need people who are with quality, people with qualification, people with knowledge, so that they can serve the state. And I think that. And NGOs should remember that also. Because when election time comes, they do like others do, then the result will be there again zero.
But the NGOs should also not have ulterior motives, not have duplicity in their approach also. As long as the government wants to work, I think it's like it takes two hands to clap, right? So you have to move in that direction. You need to back each other up and then move
you
forward.
You need two hands to clap and praise, but to kill you need only one hand. That's why you should be careful. Because to destroy is easier, but
to rebuild is very difficult.
Very good, I find. Now, sorry to jump. Why do you feel about this Khasi language not being recognized in the schedule? Do you feel that the lack of political will?
Definitely it's a lack of political will, if you ask me.
Why I share with you? Because Santal language was an unwritten language till the year 1925. But when this
Murmur came,
she went in 2000 and 2000, she took it up. She got the best legislator award in Orissa. She took it up.
So imagine, for a language was not even documented till 1925, and in today's it is already a recognized
And
language.
Khasi being part
But
of
then,
the syllabus in Calcutta University.
and Khasi being part of syllabus for so long and has always been documented, and it's highly, and we have so many acclaimed poems and
Poems,
write-ups, and so
lyrics,
much literature has been done.
fables,
And
and then
yes,
then poems, and this folklore, folk tales.
exactly.
The fault lies mostly politician.
But
With
then,
me also,
yes, but
I was a politician at that time.
No,
I bear-
it has to be a consolidated effort. It has to be taken. The baton has to be taken by one generation to the next. But we have to start aggressively
See,
pushing
in
for it.
1996, there was a race in assembly by late S.S. Chella
Yes, sir.
before becoming deputy speaker. We support. I stood up to support it. But after 1997, he died down. So, in case you come to assembly, you should try to follow example.
We should try.
Draupadi Murmu.
Yes.
And who knows, one day he might become president of India.
That we don't know,
You
sir.
are too young now, 41. Murmu is more than 60 years.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think we should move in that direction.
But
I think we should aggressively push for it because it
irrespective
deserves
of
to be
party
there.
affiliation, irrespective of educational background,
There's nothing to
all
do with
stand
politics.
united.
Yes, there's nothing to do with politics. This is
Because-
about our own identity.
Yeah,
This is
identity.
about us.
Because when language is lost, the whole thing is lost.
The whole thing is lost.
Luckily now we are approaching 20 lakhs population. No? Otherwise, some communities in India, they are on the verge of dying out. That's good. So therefore, I hope that if you win, you should be a voice of these people in the assembly.
Definitely, sir.
And even if you don't win, you should be a voice in the party.
Sure.
And even if the party does not recognize you, should be voice of marquee people. You will be there to help
Yes,
you.
yes.
So I like to ask you, next section you're going to fight from? Congress Party.
Congress Party, yeah.
I'll be very frank and blunt with you. You are facing a tough fight.
Definitely.
The lady, mostly women feel more inclined towards women.
Yeah.
Not like us men. Men, we are, I don't want to say...
I don't think so. It's like that.
No,
it's not
no,
necessary.
No. Men, we are...
Okay,
we don't care
yeah.
what ladies have. Especially when ladies are qualified and experienced. So you are facing a tough fight. So you have to work hard and fight.
True.
Your mother is there, experienced. She can go around.
See, I always look at election as not being a competition.
Yeah.
I think, as you said, and I believe so, that we project ourselves. We tell that this is what our plans are. This is what we believe society should move forward in. This is what I bring into the table, and how I would like to help my society build up on its own by at least participating in such a thing.
Yes,
And it
very
depends on the public who will have to decide exactly
big.
whether
Yeah,
it's
To talk about Murmu,
Baik
he's from Orissa, where the BJP party is in power, but she was BJP, but yet she shined. Of course, at that time there was Atal Bihari Vajpayee in the
Sure.
air.
Yes.
So what I mean to say is that we in the state cannot afford to be independent of the center.
Exactly.
You may talk big. If Congress comes power, we have to align the Congress.
Yes.
If BJP comes power, we have to align. So therefore, whatever it may be, in the party, we big party should have certain divisions, certain departments where they work accordingly for the benefit of the state.
True.
So you'll fight from the Congress. You are still 41 years old. Yeah, I became MLA up to the age of 47 too. At 40, I supported Ara. I was more hot-blooded at that time. So I was teaching in the university.
Oh, sir.
When it came to issue, I became very hot-blooded, and sometimes I made some of my friends lose the election. But once you cross 40, 45, you become sour. But you are very sour with your wide experience. So your wife is from Shillong.
Yeah, my wife, she's a Jaintia girl, but
Like me,
out of
yes,
Shillong.
from
Yes,
Jaintia.
yes, she's a
Of course,
Jaintia
I'm from Maram side.
Yes,
We
yes.
met in Shillong headquarters. Good. So I wish you all the best.
Khub le shibun sir.
Shibun
Khub
ni
yong
pi.
ni ka tien. Ma, tien mal ki khub yong hen den den.
Kedai kan wah, kedai.
Never.
Tak ambil kedai kan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Keep thanks to your
Yes, sir.
father. I remember your father. He used to come here many times.
Oh, I see.
88, 89. After he died, after last century, he came back now.